wow, that sounded so much cooler coming out of someone else's mouth. Typically, that's me saying that, and I've said it thousands of times at this point, and it just, thank you, that was really cool. Doan, I'm so thankful to you and sort of being so wonderful and slightly appeasing to a degree. The poor dear, I changed my talk last night, but here's actually why. So we had a rehearsal yesterday where we had to kind of go over everything, and it's just a technical rehearsal where you have the slides. I had to learn, kind of where to stand, all this fun stuff that makes us look really cool and like we know what we're doing. So I was going through the slides, and then afterwards I thought about it, and I realized that I was actually saying that talk just for my own ego, which is completely the opposite of what you're supposed to be doing at TED. Because you're not supposed to be promoting, and you're not supposed to be some sort of like self-help guru, telling people how to live. You're just supposed to speak firsthand and freely. So I said, okay, I'm scrapping everything. So then I went to our dinner that we had last night with all the speakers and sponsors. And when I know I don't know something, I just get really quiet. I get very introverted, and I just listen. So then I was wondering, I was like, well, what would people like to hear? So first up was this gal, who's also a speaker. And she was saying that over and over with people that are successes to whatever degree, you only hear about those wins. You only hear about oh, I sold it to Bruckheimer or CBS or anything in between. You don't really know what year one was like. So I was like, oh, that's really cool. So tell a failure story. So 6 months into starting Talk Nerdy to Me Lover, I wound up couch surfing, which is all part of the story that you can read about. But I was up for a gig with the CEO of AOL, Tim Armstrong. So I would have been able to shadow Tim for the summer just based upon, the eligibility of this program. So I thought that was really cool. But also it came with housing, which was something that I desperately needed. So then I was like, this is even better. Not only do I get this life experience, but I can also have a place to live. So I got through the process with AOL, tell us what you love about the brand, all this stuff that they want to really hear about themselves. And then I got to this Skype call. So it was me and just a bunch of people, this long table and very fancy, official looking. And they asked me, they were like, okay, we know what you love about AOL, but what would you do differently? And I took a moment and I said, I would admit the fact that you're irrelevant. Basically that, but didn't happen. A record skipped, and which for those of you who are digital and don't know what a record is, it's that big vinyl thing from back in the day when I was a kid. But I could literally feel the tension and everything in the room, or technically Skype, just completely change. But then I backed it up and I said, listen, I said, instead of just that, I said, admit that you're irrelevant, but then present it with sort of a nostalgia factor. And again, this was 6 years ago. I was like, why don't you have it be like AOL 5.0, where someone logs in, you have your buddy list, you've got mail. You can even have some sort of like pop-up that like mimics the dial-up tone that we were also used to as a kid. I was like, that's really cool. I would totally go to that website, and that's awesome. But as you guys saw from your laughter, that was my last interaction with AOL. But a story like that is so true, because I'm actually glad I didn't get that position, because if I had to dilute that much of myself that they just wanted someone to kind of be a mouthpiece for their brand and not actually have an opinion, then that's definitely not the person that I am. That's the exact opposite, actually, of who I am, which is why I've always kind of done my own thing. So next, I sat down at the table, and we were kind of all talking about social media, and that's something I'm hugely passionate about, by the way. So that was really cool. And this one gal mentioned, well, how do you know what to post in social media? And it took me a second. I was like, wait, what? How do you know what to post in social media? I don't understand. And she goes, well, how do you know what to post? Because I have all these ideas and things that I want to share, but I don't know if I should actually put that out there. What's someone going to think? And then I just started laughing, and I kind of slightly interjected, and I said, people aren't thinking about what you post. They're so insular and so focused on themselves that they don't even care. And that kind of took a minute, and then I processed myself as well, and I was like, well, by definition, they actually do care. but they're more focused on their own validation and sort of their own idea of what they're presenting to the world, and myself included with that. So then I thought about it for a moment and kind of took it a step further and thought about kind of that ecosystem that we're creating when you're in a world where you're only receiving content that you actually like. Because that's what Facebook wants from you. Because that's what the algorithm in the newsfeed is all about, is about content that you actually enjoy so that you're gonna stay on that site for longer. But now that's where we're receiving our news. That's where we're receiving all of our information, or the majority of it, I should say. And I thought that was kind of an interesting moment of like, wow, like you, by definition, could think the world is totally ending if you have friends that are sort of apocalyptic and start posting these things, which now, especially by election time, I'm pretty certain we all think it's apocalyptic, but that's okay. And by definition of saying this, if I was close enough to my cell phone, the microphone that Facebook has that I allowed them access to would actually pick that up and now start giving me ads for, oh, is there an earthquake near? What's happening? It's the end of the world, which is really kind of interesting. But the one thing that I do love about social media and the one thing that I do love about technology in general is that you can make someone's day. And that, to me, is so cool because we have these connections with people that we've never been able to theoretically have access to. So last night, that's funny. I was talking to this gal, and she was saying that she was in love with Will Forte, and that when she got a tweet from him, that absolutely made her year. And it just was so wonderful, was so great, everything in between. So I have a little blue check mark next to my name on Twitter. So the majority of times, I didn't know what was gonna happen or anything in between, but if I know I can make someone's day, I will definitely try and go the extra mile just to make it happen. So I figured, I checked out his feed, and I saw that he tweeted rather frequently, so he's either definitely doing it himself or he has a really passionate social media manager. So I actually tweeted him last night, and then this morning, I woke up to this. So Will Forte, Christy, hopefully this makes your day twice, and Will, I told you I would actually make this part of my presentation. That is what I love about social media. This is what I love about technology, and that is my idea worth sharing. Thank you so much. Yeah.